Hi YouTube, how you doing? And in today's tutorial I'm going to show you how to run a PowerShell script within SQL Agent. And to do that I'm going to use a simple commandlet called test path. I'm going to search for a file location, throw it in an if statement and run that within SQL Agent. I'm also going to show you how to throw an error, which we'd need to do within SQL Agent, and how to move on to step 1 and step 2 within PowerShell as well. As always, if you've got any questions or you've got any requests, hit me in the comments. Any feedback's always appreciated, and remember to subscribe. Enjoy the tutorial. So here I'm going to show you how to run a PowerShell script within SQL Agent. I find it's really handy if you want to check something before executing step 2 of a SQL Agent job. And to do that we're going to use test path. So down here I've got my SQL Server folder on my C drive, and I've got a few files in there. So I'm going to use PowerShell. I'm going to test path. SQL Server, and I'm going to use AdventureWorks. And if I run that, it returns true. So we can do the opposite. We can change the file name up here, and it will return false because that file is not in there. In SQL Agent, I will want to say, is that file there? If it is, successful, and if it's not, I want it to throw an error. So the SQL Agent job stops at step 1. So let's do an if. Let's say if it isn't there, for the purpose of this, I use right host. So the outcome, it's there, and this way I can change the file name and it'll tell us it's not there, which is exactly what we want. But in SQL Agent we can't use right host to output to the host. We want it to throw an error. So I'm going to change this to throw, and I'm going to use file not found. So in this case we can execute that and it'll just throw us an error. So in SQL Agent, step 1 will be running to check that this file is here. If it isn't, it's going to stop the job. Now in SQL Agent, I'm only going to need this half, because an else is just going to be a success anyway. So let's get rid of this line, and I will place this within a SQL Agent job. So I'm going to open up SQL Agent Activity Monitor. I've created this job called PowerShell test path. I'll expand that. Here are my steps. As you can see, if it succeeds, it's going to go on to the next step, which is going to update, which is going to run an update script. In reality, this can be anything you want. This might be a PowerShell script, it might be a stored procedure that you run. But I'm just going to use this as an example. And the PowerShell script, it's just what we had there. So I'm going to run that. Run it from step 1. And it succeeds. And we can see by the history of it that it went on to step 2. Now, for the purpose of the test, I'll change this to be, I'll change the file name, so we know that doesn't exist. Start from step 1, and this is our safety check. Let's check the files there. If it's not, it's going to throw an error. And it stops at step 1, which is exactly what we want. Now one thing I have seen, now this SQL instance is just on my home PC, all on one drive. Now in a work environment, your SQL Server environment might be over the C drive, the E drive, the F drive. Now wherever you run this from, you might have to change this to run up here. This drove me mad the other day. See, change it to run as from the C drive, and then it'll execute. That's just an error that I found the other day, which is well worth changing at the top. But any questions with this, then let me know and I will answer them or provide some more examples for you. Thank you.